Hi there everybody, and welcome to another video. On today's video I have this Volvo XC60. This is a 2011, and I'm gonna be changing the gearbox, the transmission fluid in it. Now this particular car has a filter that looks like an oil filter, or it's some kind of filter. It's like a paper filter. I'm going to be changing the filter and the oil. So to do that, I've been running the car for about half an hour just to get it warm to normal sort of temperature, running temperature, and I'm going to start by opening the filler bolt. So just want to make sure we can open the oil filler bolt so we can actually put oil once we drain it. So if we open the bonnet, just pulling on that bit there, and on the side of your bonnet here there is a little bit here that you need to push to the left so you can release the bonnet when opening, just in case you didn't know that. Now I know a lot of people remove the oil filter box to access the filling bolt that is just sitting down there, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to open that filler bolt from here. So that's the one there, just here. So I'm gonna make sure I can open that before I start doing any draining. And once I get that open, the hose that I have to fill oil goes through there. I know that because I've done it on another one. So anyway, let's get that cracking. Okay, so you may notice that I have my ratchet in there, and you can just about fit it like sideways like that. That is a size 8 Allen key I have in there. Size 8 fits in there, and from this point here I'm going to open that filler bolt there, which might be a little bit tighter than that, but it's just that I did open it the other day, so I had to use my two hands, which is why today I only have to use one hand to get it open. But once you have it open, you can just then take it out. Not a big thing. Okay, so let me get it out. That's what it is. And with that open, we can now get the car up and drain that oil. So that also will allow a little bit of air to go into the system while we drain it, and so hopefully we'll drain a little bit faster. So I'm gonna get the car up and we'll tackle those things, filter and drainage from underneath. And before I go any further, actually, this is the oil I'm using, DCT, Autotrans DCT, fully synthetic. This oil is a little bit yellowish in color. It's not red or ATF, that kind of oil. It's slightly different for dual clutch transmission fluid. So just that's the one I got from my supplier, which hopefully is the correct one. And this is the filter I got from Febi, which also got it from my supplier, and hopefully again it's the correct one. So anyway, let's get the car up and drain the fluid. Looking at the car from underneath, we need to remove this cover here. So I just went ahead and removed all the screws that are around this cover. There is about 9 of them. Remove those screws that are T30 Torx, and then you can, so this kind of screw, T30. Actually, there's around 7 or 8 of them, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 actually. And then you have these little bits here that you need to, they're just like clips. We have to push them together and then you can release this. So I'm gonna go and do that again, push them together and you can release the cover. Okay, cover is out. This is the sump for the oil, engine oil. We have our drain plug there, and on this side here we have the gearbox. So we have one drain plug here and there is another one just here. So I'm gonna use the method of measuring how much oil comes out, and then I'm going to fit the same amount of oil back on the gearbox, so, or back in the gearbox. So I'm gonna lose this one and release the oil. So we need the same size. It's Allen size 8. So I have an oil pan underneath here to catch the oil. Okay, that was a bit explosive, but that oil was hot, so be careful, don't hurt yourself, or don't burn yourself rather. Anyway, we'll let that drain and then we'll take out the other measuring, the other side, bolt on the other side. Okay, well, while that one is draining, if your oil pan is big enough, you might be able to get the other one out as well. So we have the two out, and we can let them both drain until they stop, and then we can put the bolts back on, and then we're gonna fill up the fluid again. So I'm just gonna let that drain for now. Okay, I left that one open. I closed the other one already, and to the right of this gearbox here you will find the filter. The filter is just there, so we're gonna take that filter out as well. And so I just got my oil pan sitting under there as well, just in case we get some oil dripping from there too. Now it's a little bit of an awkward space, and you need a 32mm socket to get that filter out. Just a little bit awkward. I'm gonna try my actual ratchet with the angle there. shouldn't be too tight. Okay. So definitely a little bit of oil in there, which you want to catch. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit, so we need to catch it to measure it. So my filter is just falling into my oil here, so I'll have to get it out in a minute. Okay, I have all my oil in here. I'm going to drain all of this oil into that container there, and that's a 5-liter container, so I'm gonna try and measure and see how much is in here, and because this amount is going to go back into the car. So there isn't a lot more dripping anymore, no quantities, just a tiny drop now and again from there. So that's what I'm gonna do next, just measure the oil. Okay, so that's the filter that fell out of its housing. However, the new filter comes with a housing. It's just sitting in there. So that bit there is that bit, and the housing, I got it on the other side. Oops. Okay, so that's how it comes out. It comes out flying, but there we are. So you have a new housing with a new O-ring there. I'm gonna put a little bit of grease around this O-ring before I fit this filter back in, and also now I'm going to close this, as there is no more oil coming out of there, and I'm just going to close them and tie them in, that one and this one here. So I'm going to tie them now. I mean, I haven't got the Newton meters for this, but it's going to be similar to that, maybe 25 Newton, 30 Newton meters. You can find this information online. Just Google search it, Volvo gearbox, sun plug, torque setting, and it shall give you the reading. And also we can fit the filter. Okay, here's my new filter. I got a little bit of grease around that O-ring, and I'm gonna try and put it in by hand. This is just a plastic filter, so we have to be careful not to damage it, as in not to over tight it. Right, so my hand just about fits there. So I just want to make sure it's closed. It's a little bit more needed, so I'm gonna have to use a ratchet, but if you're gonna use your ratchet, be careful. Since we don't want to damage it, but I can see obviously there is still quite a bit to close it. And that's it. That is closed. Just be very careful. Easy to over tighten and break it. And once you break it, you'll need another one. And well, until you get your other one, you may have to fit the old one and whatnot. Or maybe your old housing will actually save the day, but because you could put the new filter on the old housing if you damage this one. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it like that, because we're gonna put, well, it's closed now, but I'm gonna put oil and run the engine obviously, and then we can monitor that we haven't got any leaks down here. So let's I've already tightened this and the one at the back, so both of them have been tightened. So now we're gonna lower the car and put some oil. Just as a tip, make sure you leave everything clean, because if you do have a leak, you want to know where's the leak coming from. But if everything is already messy and full of oil, you might not know if that was oil from before or new oil or what. So I'm just using some brake cleaner here, which is really good for cleaning these parts. Also clean around your sun plug bolts. Want to make sure you leave them dry and clean, and that way you're gonna know if you have any leaks. Right, okay. Now we'll put some oil. Okay, this is my container, which I'm going to use to put the oil in, and it runs down all the way into the hole with no issues down there. So the hose just goes into that hole. Just it's all just bent a little bit, nothing major. That's why I was saying don't need to remove the air filter in this case scenario. I think in some other cars the air filter may be sitting a little bit closer to that filler hole on the Volvo V70 or those other ones, those other models, in which case you need to remove the air filter house in here, because otherwise you won't be able to access that filling hole. So now I'm gonna start pouring in some oil slowly. Hopefully it goes in and doesn't start coming out the side. So this oil looks a little bit sort of yellow in consistency, but also a bit yellowy, or a little bit like just like normal oil, like engine oil. But obviously it's gearbox oil. So and another thing, before I pour in the rest, I actually measured 6.5 liters came out. So I'm gonna be pouring in 6.5 liters into that hole. So we'll come back once I finish. There's not much point me filming how the oil goes in. That, I think, is not the job of anyone. That is just the job of the hose to deliver the oil. So like I said, I'm gonna do that for 6.5 liters, and then we'll proceed. Okay, got my 6.5 liters in there, so happy days. That went in fairly quickly, didn't take too long. So now I can remove my hose from there. Just gonna get a bit of paper. Now we can put the filler plug back in there. A little bit awkward. Just wanna, okay. Now it's going in. You have to master the ability to use 2 fingers, these 2 fingers, to get that in there. Now I grab my ratchet, put it back as I did before, and close that bolt. Right, that's it. Now we can, I'm gonna start the car. As soon as I start it, I'm just gonna come out and check if there's any leaks, major leaks coming out of the filter or anything like that. If there is nothing, then I'll jump in again and we can run it through the gears. Okay, just getting in here, getting the car started, and I'm just gonna get out and check for leaks. Okay, now there was nothing leaking, so where's the volume here? Okay, so now what we want to do is just run it through the gears, make sure everything is nice and smooth. So again, I haven't mentioned it, but the reason I'm changing the oil is I'm just doing it as a routine oil change, nothing else, not because there's a problem or anything like that. So the car has got around 40,000 miles now. So all we want to do is run it through the gears, make sure it's all changing smoothly and without any bangs or any issues like that. So I got it on D. So we don't want to drive it at this stage, just want to make sure the oil runs through the gearbox. We can even try that if it does anything, if it changes through the gears a little bit. So, and having done this, we can put it back on P, and what I'm going to do now is get the car up while it's running, check for any leaks, and fit the cover. Okay, so looking at the car from underneath here again, that's nice and dry. That is nice and dry there, no leaks, and our filter is also hopefully nice and dry up there. If the camera will focus. So no leaks, no major leaks, nothing leaking. Happy days. I'm going to put the cover back on now and then just take it for a little test drive. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this for a little test drive. If there's anything dodgy, I will for sure report it or let you know in the video. But otherwise, I hope the video helps. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. So I'll only post this video provided everything is gone according to plan. But yeah, like I said, I'll mention it if there's anything wrong. So anyway, thank you for watching.